Hi there, I'm Caitlin Zerkhamer, and this is my video blog for the book The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. It's a YA literature book, which means young adult, obviously. How am I credible enough to be providing you with such information, you may ask? Well, I am constantly reading young adult literature, and I have also been in a contemporary lit class all semester. So I'm going to start out with a summary of this great book. The Fault in Our Stars is about a teenage girl, Hazel, who has cancer. At the beginning of the book, she is just going through the normal motions of the life of a typical girl with cancer. Most of the time, she's either sleeping or watching America's Next Top Model in the comfort of her home. She spends her evenings at cancer support group. Hazel doesn't enjoy support group because she feels like it's depressing and doesn't make her feel any better like it is supposedly supposed to do. But she goes anyway to make her parents happy because she figures the only thing worse than having cancer is having a kid who has cancer. One day at support group, Hazel meets Augustus, a boy who lost his leg due to cancer. Hazel starts to get close to Augustus and enjoys his intelligent but witty personality. Despite how hard she tries to not fall in love with Augustus in order to keep herself from being a grenade, she fails. Augustus and Hazel fall in love, and shortly after, Augustus' cancer comes back and takes his life. The theme of this book that I chose to talk about today is identity. The theme of identity is present in almost every YA book. It is such a common theme because young adults are the ones that are going through the most change in life and learning the most through life lessons that can help them figure out who they are. The thesis that stems off of this theme is don't let what you can't control you and define who you are. In The Fault in Our Stars, the main characters, Hazel and Augustus, both have to live with terminal cancer. Throughout the book, they help each other learn that they can't let the thought of death ruin what good times they can have while they are still living. At the beginning of the book, Hazel says about death, there will come a time when there are no more human beings remaining to remember that anyone ever existed, or that our species ever did anything. She showed a very accepting attitude about her death, but she also didn't want to do anything on Earth to make her life more enjoyable. Augustus was the opposite at the beginning of the book. He was very optimistic about life, and he wanted to do all he could to make a difference on Earth while he could. He often used a non-lit cigarette as a metaphor for staying in control of your life and not letting the cancer control you. They don't kill you unless you light them, he said when Hazel asked about it, and I've never lit one. It's a metaphor, see? Right between your teeth? But don't give it the power to do its killing. When Augustus got sick again, though, he seemed to start to give up and seem less optimistic about life than he was before. This time, Hazel was the optimistic one. She said, "But Gus, my love, I cannot tell you how thankful I am for our little infinity. I wouldn't trade it for the world. You gave me a forever within the numbered days, and I am grateful." The very title of the book does a great job of portraying my thesis statement as well. The line from Julius Caesar, "The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves that we are underlings," basically means that we cannot blame fate for living lives of little importance, but rather our weaknesses. Green altered the title of his book to be The Fault in Our Stars because the book portrays the opposite. That living a life of little importance is not always because of our weaknesses. It is often because of our fate. Green chose this to be the title of the book because those who have a terminal disease like Hazel and Gus do not really have a choice of how they live their life. They did not choose to have cancer. Instead, the cancer chose them. In other words, their meaningless lives are not a response to their weaknesses, but rather what makes them weak. Their disease, aka their fate. But the best part is that what is considered a meaningless life to most was not meaningless to Hazel and Augustus. They shared more happiness together in their unfairly shortened lives than most people do in their healthy, full-lived lives. In this book, John Green suggests that sometimes it's not always about leaving a mark on the world when you die, but rather leaving a mark in the hearts of the ones you loved. Sometimes it is better to be loved deeper than wider. Alright, now I'll share with you my opinion of the book. I think the author's exploration of the theme of identity was very effective. By the end of the novel, you could see a major change in who the characters had become and how they viewed the meaning of life. Also, I really liked the emotional aspect of the book. It was a very smart and powerful tool for Green to use because it made it so that I could almost feel the pain along with the characters in the book, which made the book even more moving and meaningful for me. Overall, this was a great book and made me want to pick up more John Green books and keep reading. So far, I have also read Paper Towns, and I am currently reading Looking for Alaska. Well, thanks for listening, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Deuces, and most of all, don't forget to be awesome.